Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or older in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard. Screwing off.
It's what I do best. Welcome to this week's episode of Stay Off My Lawn. It is July 15th, which I had down July 13th wrongly a minute ago. And this is episode 126. Heard in 43 countries. And
that's right. We know what we're doing. We are popular with 126 episodes and 43 countries.
Yeah. Let's
our listeners.
Let's stick with that. But we sound good, and we look good doing it. Trust us, you can't see us right now. Anyway,
yeah. Well, it's a good thing you don't see us right now because I'm lactating.
Oh, yeah. It's a little warm where he's at, and he's sweating. He's not truly lactating; he's sweating.
Well, if you've ever been one of these lovely 4x4 boxes, they are made to keep sound out. Guess what else gets kept out? Any cool air, because you can't have it running. And it's like phooey on it. I've got the door open and I'm still in here just.
Well, you turn on a little bit of compression on your microphone and it kind of keeps the air conditioning sound at bay for me anyway. That's one of the reasons why I do that.
Yeah, I don't have central air.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning and it's already 78 degrees. At 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah. What are we? We are at 11:30 and it is. Let's see, 80. We're at 90 degrees already.
Oh my! So, yeah, we're both warm. I sent you my temperature we were having yesterday since we're talking about the weather, and we had 106 yesterday at my place, feeling like 108. The outside humidity was 23% at the time I sent the pic. It got down to I think 19 yesterday % of humidity. Goodness. So someone said it's drier than a popcorn fluff. Yeah. So and I said it to my daughter as well, and she goes, "What?" She goes, "You got more humidity in the house than you have outside."
That's true. You sent me the same screenshot. Yeah, I
like 38% humidity, which is where you need your indoor temperature. The humidity that's supposed to be right there on the low end of perfect, is around 35, 30, whatever.
Okay.
And that's where it was. It was very comfortable in the house, nice and cool.
You got 3 units running. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It whatever works.
It's toasty. And I got a week and 2 days and I'll be 50 years. Not old, but.
Did you see the confused look on my face? You what?
Well, the wife deserves a gold star on the refrigerator for putting up with me that long.
Yeah, I was going to say 50-year anniversary. It's very,
yes.
But what a great milestone though. That's fantastic. And
it's when people look and go, "No, you're not." Well, we started out real young. "Okay, you want to marry me?"
Yeah, I think Barbara was 32 when we got married. 30. We got married in September, so she had already had her birthday. So she was 32, I was 25. So so we're only at 36. We're newlyweds compared to you guys. So it is what it is.
Yeah. She was almost 19. I was closer to being almost 19. And so,
whippersnappers made it work. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Neither one of us wanted to start over after you got so many years in. It's like, nah, I'm not starting over with this. Forget it.
And on that related note, I really hate to kind of expound on this a little bit, but I've got friends that have been married for like 30, 40 years to their spouse. And then when their spouse dies, about 2 years later, they get remarried. And I'm like, and I just cannot imagine. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But I just cannot imagine for me. I mean, as long as we've been married, I can't imagine trying to live with somebody else. I mean,
I just, man, yeah. If they're going to be as old as me, I don't want new issues.
Exactly. Because everybody's got baggage and you don't want to bring in more baggage. I mean, it seems like I got plenty of mine.
That's like a daily delivery of Amazon.
Yeah, without all the good stuff. It's like cat treats. I mean, it's just not even.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
yes.
the economy. There's a huge banner at our local Kroger here in Cartersville. I saw it yesterday, saying that prices are have gotten lower on thousands of items. And I did see a news story that Aldi was going to take 40,000 of their items. It doesn't sound right, but they said 40,000 items are actually going to have lower prices by the end of the summer. So, I mean, something good has happened in the economy. You hear a lot of the CNN pundits and MSNBCs, and they're all saying the economy's in the toilet, and it just doesn't seem that way. It's not great, but
they keep trying to push that it's not going well because God forbid they would give Trump any or give what he's doing. He's already had the prognosticating economists.
That's
How's
nice.
that for
I got to write that down. Hang on.
Who upset all this stuff with and you're going to try, and they're going, it actually works.
See, that's the thing. It's like, and it worked the first 4 years he was in, but they just went in the opposite direction, and it really did trash the economy. The 4 years under Biden, the auto pen, whoever was running that, it really did trash the economy. And really, we're only at 200 days somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, we're just right at the 6-month mark.
Yeah. So, I mean, so it can't be 200 days, more like 180, something like that. So, I mean, whatever he's doing is working in the right direction. The eggs are down. I think somebody said that eggs nationwide are down 65% from last year at this time. I don't know how accurate that is, but there was somebody on TV that I'm not on TV, and I believed it. So, but there was a prediction that I read this morning.
We're suckers that way.
Yeah,
so.
we are. There's a prediction that they might go down to $2.50 a dozen by the end of the summer. So, I mean, I'd like to see that. That'd be great. I mean, if only I could just subsist on eggs, I guess that would be great.
Well, they killed off, so Dad burned many chickens.
Yeah.
Yes, some of them were meat chickens. I get that. But by the same token, they were also getting rid of, what was it, almost 300,000 chickens. It's going to cause a supply chain problem.
Yeah. And
it takes 6 months from little cheapers to start laying again, and it's a process.
Yeah, it seems like it goes fast when you have a little chickadee, but yeah, it does take some time. So that's part of it, and I do think that we've kind of solved some of the supply chain issues that we had with gas prices being lower. I think there's just a lot of things working together. We also saw a $27 billion surplus in June, something we haven't seen in 20 years in the U.S. economy. Everybody's saying it's from the tariffs, and maybe it is, but if it is the tariffs, then their fear-mongering about prices being jacked up all over the place hasn't really come to fruition. Not yet, anyway. I mean, I haven't seen the prices go up, really.
Well, and they're all complaining about prices getting jacked up. Well, on what? If you're buying this stuff, yeah, you might have to pay another $1 for a shirt or whatever it might be.
Right.
Really? Is that going to make that much difference? If it is, I've been there where $1 might as well have been 100 sometimes.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I've had issues with that, but really, it's not going to. What it's doing for our economy, and something that just happened, and I wish I could remember. I just saw it Saturday or Sunday. Was something like $300 billion. Another $300 billion investment just came into the States from another foreign entity of some sort. So they're building stuff here, and we need to do manufacturing. We were looking up earlier about the economy stuff, and looking up PF flyers. For those of you who remember, you can run faster and jump higher with a PF flyer. Anyhow, it's the shoes for kids at the time. They were made in the U.S.
Made by B.F. Goodrich, Akron, Ohio.
That's right. They were made here. Well, guess where they're made now? And I'll tell you, it's not made by B.F. Goodrich here.
Made by B.F. Ying Yang or whatever.
Yeah. So that's the problem is we sent all this stuff off, and
And it's going to take some time. If we do bring manufacturing back, and which during the first Trump administration, I believe that Maytag moved some of their stuff back to the U.S. from Mexico because of, the tariff thing and just incentives. These things just take time, though, unfortunately.
Yep. Whirlpool's coming back in, doing some things. So, yeah, and people are going, well, that's going to take 3 years. Okay.
Maybe.
They're too used to stuff happening. Yeah. I want it now.
Exactly.
Do it immediately. You screwed it up over 4 years. It doesn't fix itself in 6 months, for crying out loud.
You're right. We want this instantaneous fixing of things, but I mean, you voted for it to get screwed up in the first place, and
that's right.
It just takes some time, and I really think that the gas prices are making things better. I paid $2.79 a gallon the other day. So
not us. It's almost $3.50. It went up for the 4th of July, which it usually does for holidays. Gas always goes, and then the holiday's over, and then it slowly trickles back down. The next holiday, it goes back up again.
But I still think a year ago, I think it was much higher than it is now. But
we were actually here, which is very odd. I paid $5.25 once to have to fill up the car, and it was, so
really, if you're paying an extra $1 on a shirt, you could absorb that. If you're only paying, you're paying $1 less per gallon. If you drive on average, you're gonna burn 15, 20, 25 gallons a week if you're working easily. So anyway, so we'll have to wait and see with the economy. It does seem like it's going in the right direction, and maybe Jerome Powell might be unemployed, but I mean, it's the way it goes.
Well, his contract is up the end of this year, or it's within the next year, so they don't figure he'll leave until his contract's up.
He's been in that role for a long time, right? Since Obama. Was it Obama?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been there a very long time, and he is well, I tried to do this stuff fair and without politics. Oh, please. What you did for the Democrats at the end of 2024 with dropping rates, bam, bam, bam. Okay, that had nothing to do with because the economy wasn't doing good then.
No, it certainly wasn't. And we were talking about that off the air. I really think that their process of quelling the inflation rate and all that kind of stuff, by manipulating the interest rates, I don't think that really works. I mean, we saw that fail time and time again, especially during the Biden years. So, I mean, the economy just still kept getting worse. So, I don't know. Protesting. What is it with all the protests? Is there really that many suburban Karens out there have nothing else to do?
No. And usually it's one of the ones who are getting some remuneration. I'm full of big words today, aren't I?
Another 16-letter word. Let me write that down again.
Who are the ones that come up when someone's asking question of other people who may be an actual, they're there for the cause. Mm-hmm. They're not being paid. Who are you? Who are you with? And it's like, do regular protesters do that? They don't know. This is a seasoned veteran who's coming up and doing that.
It is. There's a video out there. Charlie Kirk interviewed this guy. Josh, was it? No, I'm thinking.
Is that the one with the big, almost sandwich board looking thing?
Yeah.
He didn't know why he was there.
His name was
Nate. Me all this sign. His name was Nate. I'll do it.
His name was Nate Friedman, and so you go to Charlie Kirk's YouTube channel, and you'll see that whole interview. And there's a lot of visual to it, so I didn't play that. I don't have that whole clip, but I do have one from Epic TV's Joshua Phillip. He kind of explained that there's a lot more than meets the eye when it comes to these protests.
With the riots in Los Angeles and other similar incidents now taking place across the United States, there's a key Maoist tactic called the mass line at play, and what's called planned spontaneity, which sounds inherently contradictory. Planned spontaneity. In other words, it looks grassroots, but it's organized and planned. If you break it down what it is, it gives you the illusion that there is a consensus and you're the odd one out. You're the one who's not going with the crowd. You're the weird one. Communist movements, they don't necessarily organize the starts of movements. But what they often do is they look at existing trajectories and they accelerate them. They push them to an extreme. And there's a lot of ways they do that. during the Cultural Revolution in China, where the Chinese Communist Party was seizing control of the country. They would have Chinese Communist Party agents go to town hall meetings. And one person would come up and say, I've been victimized. The landlord or something like that is causing all these problems for me. Because remember, the early communist revolution in China was mainly against the landlord class and against the teachers and so on like that. They'd say, the landlord is victimizing me. The landlord is causing all these problems. And then you'll have another person, maybe a crying woman, saying, oh, I can barely survive. My children, where will we live if they raise my rent? Another person stands up and says, we need to fight. We need to kill them. Maybe you have another person stand up and gives a very weak argument. I don't know if we should do that. And then another person shoots them down and makes them look like an idiot. And then what happens? A group comes up and says, this is the solution. We're going to march on there right now. We're not going to let this abuse take place anymore. Let's all go. And everyone cheers and says, yes, we will do it. This is a communist tactic to have a minority appear to be a majority. This is the method they use to make a small group of people look a lot larger than they are, because this is how it works. Every one of those people who stood up, the person who brought up the issue in the first place, the crying woman, the guy who gives a weak argument, and of course the individuals who then rallied everybody to go, all of them were part of the same group, but they dispersed themselves to look like they were not. And by doing that, you could have a group of 4 or 5 people move an entire town hall meeting. You could have a group of 4 or 5 people manufacture an illusion of consent. And by doing so, make people believe that everybody else believes in this, and if I don't join it, I'm the weird one out, and maybe they'll even target me. And they use that method to start up a lot of the revolutions, the planned killings, the targeted attacks, the takeover of the CCP, the destruction of culture, everything. That's how the tactic works.
It's acting. And it's
yeah, we're going to pay you to go do this. And did you have any more on the paid protesters?
I do. I've got that guy that was on Charlie Kirk. I've got part of what he was talking about.
Yeah, no, this is what they're doing. This is, and if you think the CCP, for those of you who are not long-term listeners, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, is everywhere doing as much stuff as they can, buying up property next to a base of some sort. Yeah, they're finding ways of doing stuff to be able. It worked over in China. Well, it's not working really well here. It is they go to the liberal cities, and it's working great there because they're just a bunch of lemmings that'll do whatever's said anyway.
Well, I think that what they're doing is that they're dangling enough money in front of farmers or ranchers that aren't using their land like they used to. And it's like, and I get it. I totally get it. It's like in our neighborhoods, where I live, where I live especially, is that they have these open door people that, sorry about that. I had a grit of coffee in the back of my throat. But these open door companies, the ones that will give you more than the going rate for your house, and you don't have to do any repair work. You don't have to do, they dangle this stuff in front of you, and it's easier. You get more money, and it's faster. So why wouldn't you? And I totally get it, but they are totally ruining the fabric of the American dream, in my opinion.
Well, and they're always saying, and we're just a local company. No, you're not. You're working for BlackRock. You're working for the Communist Party. You are somebody who's
Vanguard.
I'm sorry. You are not local in any way, shape, or form. I get a postcard or somebody calls and, hey, is this the owner of? No. And I just click block.
About every week, right?
Yeah, it's terrible. Constantly, all the time. Hey, you don't have to do anything. You just move out, and we'll take it just as is, the way it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the influx of these protesters, you see all these people in the street, even if it's only a couple of hundred. I would say the vast majority of those people are paid. These are paid actors. And I know this sounds conspiratorial, but I mean, these are paid actors. And like I was talking about earlier, this guy, Nate Friedman, Charlie Kirk interviewed him, and he goes around, he's got a great YouTube channel. He's got a lot of these things. He goes around and asks people, who did you vote for in different things?
And this is a young man who is someone who doesn't just sit on their keister and play games on their iPad. He's out doing stuff and going, that's not right. And he does more research than most of the mainstream media pundits who are blah, 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 blah. And they have this kid is awesome.
He's more of a journalist than you see on TV today, for sure.
Correct.
But anyway, he found exactly what Josh was just talking about. So here's him talking to Charlie.
Yeah. And so you kept on, let's just say, your research, you kept on examining it. And there's a whole group of these paid protesters. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. And I've met them personally and dealt with them personally.
Tell us more.
When I went to the Takedown Tesla protest, almost immediately upon getting there, an older woman comes up to me and has a right-wing troll arrow and follows me around the protest. Now, I hadn't even interviewed anyone up until that point. I had asked someone for an interview, but I wasn't granted one yet. And then she comes along and she follows me and asks everyone I speak to not talk to me. And that same arrow is at the No Kings protest, printed the exact same way. And so the original older woman that I spoke to at the Tesla protest, I found her at, 20, 30 different protests.
20 or 30?
Oh yeah. And then all over the country too, DC blocking the Capitol, stopping senators in the cafeteria, the whole deal. Then 2 more people come along and I see that they're teammates, actually, that all the time they're in pictures together. It's all in the Tesla takedown video. And so they all behave the same way. They're all telling each other like this, don't speak to him, don't speak to him. And what's funny is they eat their own. So someone wants to speak. They say, I don't care who Nate is. I want to have a conversation. They say, no, don't have a conversation. So you see them disagreeing with each other. And it's crazy because the left lost the election. So they should know that in order to win back votes, you have to have conversations with the other side. The other side won, right? So it's interesting.
That's one of the things Charlie always talks about. It's like once we stop having conversations with people we don't agree with, our country may just go to pot because it's so easy to hate the other people if you never engage with them. And I think that's a danger.
I was watching a little bit of the 5 that came up late because I fell asleep in my chair and was like, oh, that show's on now. Okay. Anyway, was watching that and Harold was on there and they were having a real row busting going at it. There's like 4 of them all having conversation. And then they ended and a joke was thrown out and everybody was laughing and it was no big deal, but they were passionate about their point.
Sure.
But by the same token, it didn't stay that way. Yeah. They accepted, that's how you believe, we don't, blah, blah, and that's it. And then they moved on. Unlike when Tarlov's on there, she's just nasty.
And Harold's the token liberal they keep on there. But it's like you said, he's reasonable. He's a decent person.
Yes.
And so when you are met with decency, you respond with decency.
Right.
And
they all very much respect Harold.
Yeah,
he is just a really good person. He just has a left-leaning, and sometimes he goes out on a left-leaning limb. And he goes, okay, well, I see your point, or no, I'm not with you on that. And then they just move on. It's no big deal.
But you can respect somebody like that, somebody who actually listens. And I try to listen. I mean, it's like a lot of times I'm laughing on the inside, but I try to listen. Anyway.
We never listen to each other. So, what the heck.
We are up against a break. When we come back, we're going to break down some of the Epstein stuff that's out there. And I know that's on everybody's mind. Don't take your shower just yet. You're going to need it after this next segment. So.
Yes.
So hang in there. We'll be right back.
I'm Charmaine Davies. And every week, my guilty pleasure is tuning in to the podcast, Stay Off My Lawn. It's funny, it's informative, and the guys that present it are just fabulous. So make sure you tune in every week to Stay Off My Lawn and make it your guilty pleasure too.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Nudist Colony Activity Coordinator.
Mr. Nudist Colony Activity Coordinator.
Wearing nothing but a whistle and a clipboard, you're living the real American dream. Getting paid to think up fun things to do naked.
Running free.
Sure, there's danger. Vinyl chairs, sunburns, chafage, and lawn darts completely out of the question.
Watch out now.
Your keen instincts tell you to stick to activities that involve lots of bouncing and jiggling. And if that doesn't work, who cares? You're all naked.
It's your birthday.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, nudie boy, because we all know when the going gets tough, the tough get naked.
The nudist college activity coordinator.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back to Stay Off My Lawn. Segment 2.
You drink too fast and not choke.
I hate it when that happens. Oh, by the way, if you want to reach out to us and, threaten our lives or whatever you want to do, it is soml@duck.com. Or you can call us at 706-383-9003. And for you guys with only a third grade education, it's 9003 is what 9003 is. So anyway, those are the
numbers.
Those are the kind of people that threaten our lives. So I mean, what the heck? We gotta help.
We want to make sure you get the number right.
That's right. I think we can all agree that the whole Epstein thing is just an absolute mess, and there were mistakes made, and there were some things said that shouldn't have been said. Yada yada yada.
This has just been an absolute fiasco in the PR category.
Oh, no.
It has been just botched all over the place.
No doubt. I actually came across a montage of different people, including Donald Jr. and J.D. Vance, and from before the campaign and during the early part of the administration, they were talking a good game about the whole Epstein thing. And here's that.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go ever.
Well, and that was Dan Bongino there. And, there are so many people in this administration that I totally trust, and I think that they're trying to do the right thing. Dan Bongino is definitely one of them. I don't know Pam Bondi enough, but you just got to wonder if she just stepped in it by saying things too early. I mean,
at the turning point thing, they actually asked the crowd, essentially doing a straw poll, if you will, just asking, and said, who would you rather have, Bondi or Bongino? And it was a rousing, everybody said Bongino at the same time. There was no smattering. I couldn't hear any Bondis.
Right.
So she's not well liked at the moment.
No, and Bongino.
She's not arresting or putting anybody in front of the courts or nothing. Well, we're going to. When?
I know. I want to see some perp walks, no doubt.
Yep.
But Bongino's been on the scene for quite a while now. So, I mean, I get where he has more recognition, and he's built himself a great reputation. And they just Kash Patel to a lesser extent, but, he seems extremely honest. And Pam Bondi, I had great hopes for her. And
yeah, me too.
I just don't know. I don't know whether my prediction is she'll be fired by the end of the month. That's just my take on it. I don't think that she's going to be there for very long. But anyway, Trump just the other day is trying to push people away from the story. Unfortunately, I hate playing this, but I got to play it.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking We have Texas. We have this. We have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Yeah, and he just, I'd like to see himself get distance from this just as much as he does. But, you know, all these promises were made, and people want these promises to be kept.
He's been doing a good job of keeping the other ones.
He sure has.
What's up with this one? Yeah, it's like he took a broom and went, yeah, lift that rug, please.
Yeah. You know,
it's like, no, this ain't going away. And I feel like he just thought from bad advice from somebody that, oh, we can just do this and we'll move on from it.
It's not going to happen.
Since found out otherwise, which I think caught his attention really well this weekend at the whatever the soccer match thing was. They were playing the national anthem, and the cameras panned over to Trump and Melania, and he was up on the big screen. You could no longer hear the national anthem playing. The boos were so bad.
And you never see him booed. Never.
No.
Never.
And I think that might have went, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That may have been, wasn't advice from somebody else. That was an entire stadium that would normally, sports people and that kind of stuff that go to that are usually a conservative crowd of a sort, if you will. And he was not welcome at all. They had to cut away from him because it was interrupting the national anthem so bad.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I did not see that. So, but that's just, you know, I don't know. It's not going away. I did hear an interesting perspective yesterday. You know, it seems like there's a lot of high-profile liberals out there that are all of a sudden that normally sat on their hands for the last four years with Biden in office about the whole Epstein thing. Now they're like all of a sudden they're, you know, just like COVID, they see an opportunity to divide the people on the right, and they're all of a sudden now they want to see the list. I'm like, where were you? Where have you been since 2005 when this story broke? Where have you been? And the
never let a good fiasco go to waste.
Yeah, I think that's
poke that bear as hard as you can.
You know, and I think that, you know, it just the reason they do that is that, you know, they're the bootlicking followers. They do whatever the Democrats or the establishment tells them to do. And we, on the other hand, because we think for ourselves and we are principled people for the most part, we're not bootlickers. We're not, you know, we don't just go, oh, that's what he said, so that's what I'm going to believe. I mean, we actually do think for ourselves. So it's like, so we do have this infighting much more so than Democrats. When we disagree, sometimes it's vehemently. I mean, it can be really, the whole Bondi thing. I heard last week that there was like some yelling and stuff within the White House, and Bongino took Friday off. He hasn't taken a day off since he got into the cabinet. So I mean, it's really gotten ugly.
They asked Trump when he got back from the game, I guess it was, or maybe he was going to it, that they asked how Dan was on Sunday. And all you can hear is that high whine that's going on in the background. That is annoying as all get out. But he said, oh no, Dan's doing fine. He's all right. So I'm guessing they had a conversation. Let's just put it that way.
I can imagine. But, you know, anyway, the question is, who is there or was there ever a list? I think that, you know, now they're starting to change their story. Didn't you say you heard recently that they're...
Yes. Yesterday afternoon late, I saw, because it was too hot to be outside, I saw him saying, now we're going to look at the list, and all of a sudden there's a list again. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. They just need to finalize it, put out what you have, and let the chips fall where they may. You and I both were talking off the air about, don't care if it's Republicans or if it's Democrats, it's slimy people. You deserve to get found out. That's right. And I'm sorry, that's just the way that it is.
Castrate them or put them in a chair. I don't care whether they got an R or a D. Yeah, and just get rid of them. So Alan Dershowitz, I don't know if you saw the Netflix special. He was part of the initial investigation. There was a woman who claimed that she had been with him on the island and the whole thing. It turned out to be that she was mistaken. It was somebody who looked like him, and I guess a lot of old creeps look like Alan Dershowitz, unfortunately, and I hate that for him. But he was on Chris Cuomo's talk show.
Willie he was on
he
Willie
he was on
Quiz
Quiz Cuomo's. That is so hard to say. He was on his show the other day.
I thought I'd call you out for it.
I appreciate that. I was going to gloss right over it, but we're not doing that apparently. So anyway, he explained a little bit more in depth on the list and all the stuff that goes with that.
Is the government hiding a client list or anything that the Trump administration could release tonight?
No, there is no client list. There never has been a client list. A client list suggests that Jeffrey Epstein made a list of people to whom he trafficked women. What there is a redacted FBI affidavit from accusers. There are several of them from accusers that accuse Jeffrey, that accuse various people of having improper sex. And that has been redacted. The names of the people accused have been blacked out. Now, of course, because I was the lawyer and I did all the investigations, I know who all these people are. I could figure out, based on everything that I saw, who Mr. X is, Mr. Y is, and Mr. Z. I can tell you right now, none of them are public figures who are currently in office. Some of them were previously in office. Some of them are dead. But there is no client list. And the redactions could be undone if you go to court. So many of the things that are being suppressed by two judges in Manhattan. And they're doing it largely to protect the alleged accusers who are, in the view of the judges, victims, even though we don't know what their actual status is. But the judges have issued orders, which is why I can't disclose things I'd love to disclose, saying that you can't disclose this information. But Pam Bondi and the Justice Department and Donald Trump are not responsible for that. I don't know of any information that they could disclose that they haven't disclosed. Now, maybe there is some, but I'm simply not aware of it. And so I think it's important to place the blame where the blame deserves to be placed. The vast majority of people who are in the files, and I know them all, I've seen all the names, the vast majority of them have already been disclosed. They're in articles all over the world. They're in books that have been written. So if we got everything, you would be shocked how few names are there that haven't already been disclosed. The media hasn't, by the way, done a good enough job in finding the people who have been disclosed in the public record. So that's that list.
So maybe there's not a list, but, you know, I was talking to my daughter-in-law about this a couple days ago, and she made an excellent point. I've seen a box with a bunch of hard drives of these videos that are supposedly were taken on the island and is placed in New Mexico.
I don't want to see any of that.
No, certainly not. But somebody had to watch that somewhere along the line because it's evidence. So if there's video, I mean, there's got to be. Hopefully there's points in there where you can see somebody's face. So they know who's in those videos. So even if there's not a list, you could compile a list from all those videos and expose these people. I don't care whether it's Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Barack Obama. I don't care who it is. I mean, and I understand these are powerful people, but they are still no better. They put their pants on the same way you and I do. I think they
and unfortunately they weren't on.
No, apparently not in these videos.
Yeah,
And
it's just sad stuff. Have you heard that Ghislaine Maxwell is going to? She wants to go to Congress, and I'm happy to give you names of, and I'm happy to testify. You know, I can't believe she's still alive because she said that like a day or two ago, and it's like. She's still there?
You would have thought she'd be suicided by now for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if she's got something to say, I mean, she knows where all the bodies are buried. She was there from day one. She was one of the ones that got back in the early 2000s or late 90s. It was getting him girls back then. So, you know, and some of the stories, like I said, the Netflix special, I mean, it's icky and it's terrible but you know, if it doesn't destroy your faith in humanity, then nothing will. We'll put it that way. Anyway, it's important to keep things in perspective. In almost 7 months into this administration, there's been a lot of good things from Pam Bondi's DOJ, and it's kind of hard to remember some of that stuff. But Matt Gaetz was on his show. I think he's on, what show is it? He's on OAN?
I think he's on. I thought he was on Newsmax, but I could be wrong. It might be OAN.
It's one of those.
One
anyway.
American Network News.
Yeah, he's on one of those. He has a talk show, and he gave about a minute and a half talking about the good things that have come out of Pam Bondi's DOJ, and these are things we need to be cohesive about as a party, and to understand that we have to work at the greater good, because otherwise the midterms are going to be way up for grabs. So
the Dems are just happy that this is splitting us up, and that somebody's already threatening to leave, and blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
Oh, they're going.
They are salivating, no doubt. So,
yeah.
Here's Matt Gaetz talking about that.
Pam Bondi is the best attorney general Donald Trump has had by a factor of 10,000. And anyone who disagrees with me is welcome to come on this show and choose their fighter. Which Trump AG would you replace Pam Bondi with? Barr? Sessions? Rosen? She's the best, and we appreciate her service. The Bondi team successfully litigated away the judicial coup of nationwide injunctions. They did that. They won that for us. They have created the legal infrastructure for highly effective deportations. She's got the cartels self-deporting. She has targeted the criminals and the gang networks. Pam Bondi is a star and has our full admiration and support. To those who don't share my enthusiasm, look at how far we've come. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is the reason Hillary Clinton got away with everything. The statute of limitations is passed to hold her accountable. After Sessions, we got Bill Barr. AG Barr is the reason legitimate questions about the 2020 election went uninvestigated by the Department of Justice. You don't think you're getting all the answers you want on Epstein? We never got the answers on an election that resulted in a dementia ward escapee being president for 4 years. Some have suggested that they aren't keen on cash anymore. Look at where we've been at the FBI. It used to be a dumpster fire. During the prior Trump administration, we had James Comey. We had to deal with Christopher Wray, and now we get Kash Patel. Kash is rounding up actual criminals. I have every confidence that this administration will continue their outstanding work.
When you put it in perspective like that, I like Kash and I like Bongino.
And we were talking off the air about, not having any patience, and the Dems are going, yeah, well, when are things going to get better? I mean, they were complaining about the egg prices haven't come down yet. Well, he just was president for 2 months, but there were so many other things that the news media couldn't keep up. And they said, we've never had this much stuff to have to deal with. Sure. Well, the poor things were just overworked. It was horrible.
Well, not only that, some of the news media swept a lot of that under the rug. They didn't want to talk about it because it gave Trump credit.
Yeah, it'll be 6 months on the 20th of this month. So we're still not 6 months in. And he's done more in 6 months than the entire Biden administration did doing anything good in 4 years. It was all screwing up and destroying the country as opposed to helping it. It just was the worst.
And it's always easier to tear something down than it is to build it up. So, I mean, and especially when you're talking about an economy like America's, I mean, the largest economy in the world, I mean, it takes some time. We just need to have patience. Look at where he started off with when he took over from Obama back in 2016 or 17.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everything was Obama had even said in his speech that, double-digit economies are just the thing of the past. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to recover the way we have in the past. It's just not possible. And Donald Trump came in and made it possible.
Here, hold my beer.
Hang on to this, boy. Let me get it.
He doesn't drink at all.
No.
So beer or otherwise. Anyway,
he's got a Diet Coke button on his. He's got that's so
my
funny.
Diet Coke. There you go.
What a great story that is. I'll have to find that audio. But yeah, he's got a button where he had somebody in there visiting with him, and he says. Said something about
the red button, yeah.
Said something about nukes, and he mashed a button, and the guy goes, "What was that?" He goes, "You got to wait." And then about 2 minutes later, a guy comes in with a Diet Coke, and they say, "This is my Diet Coke button." So funny. Goodness gracious. I mean, he could be a stand-up comedian. So, You got to love it. We are up against another break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how some of the lefties are actually softening their stance on the anti-Trump stuff. I think they're thinking about their future, maybe.
They're going, this other side's kind of going in the dumpster.
It's on fire, and I'm on fire. Everything's on fire. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Mike Tarnow, Richard Durrington. The Stay Off My Lawn podcast continues next.
You will be pleasantly surprised when you discover how Spam baked for dinner is a real taste tester that satisfies the family completely. That's because Spam, S-P-A-M, is a perfect blend of sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat and tender ham, seasoned in a better way, cooked to a delicious extra goodness. Plan a meal around baked Spam. It's so easy. Just open a can of Spam, place the meat in a shallow baking dish, and bake according to the recipe on the label. In a jiffy, you'll take to the table a main course so distinctive in meaty flavor, so filled with lip-smacking satisfaction that the family will say, Spam is really elegant eating. Give the folks baked Spam tomorrow. The easiest to get, best to eat dinner you've had in a long, long time. But start right and get the real thing. Be sure to ask your food dealer for S-P-A-M, Spam.
That's right. You got to have one more year and it's Social Security time, big gum.
That's right. Hi, welcome back to Stay Off My Lawn, segment 3, and we got really diarrhea of the mouth the first couple of segments.
Well, unfortunately, the Epstein segment was
necessary.
It was so icky we couldn't stop talking about icky, and that's just sad.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, hopefully this goes away eventually. I really don't even like talking about it personally, but it is on everybody's mind. I thought maybe it was worthwhile to go through it. Anyway, we've heard these people on the street being interviewed and asking why they don't support Trump and his presidency. And, they always answer very, very vaguely. Well, Trump sucks.
Well, he's been bad and he hasn't done what? What is it that he hasn't done? They have no anything.
He's
specific.
A racist. Well, name me one thing he's done that's racist. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It's like, oh, okay, well, there we go. Anyway.
It's just talking points.
One total lefty seems to be tired of hearing that specifically.
It's just Trump sucks. That's the underlying, thought of everything the Democrats do. Trump sucks. Trump says, the sky is blue. Trump sucks. You can't, that's not the way to win. It's just not, because it's not about Trump. It's about the people of the United States of America and what's good for them. And how do you get them to a place where they're in a better position and it's less stressful for them?
Yeah, well, if you don't know who that was Mark Cuban, and a total lefty and really hates Trump beyond words. And he seems to he knows this isn't working, so...
Yeah, it's not working, and he's being at the moment a slightly intelligent businessman going, this ain't getting it done, and it is not gonna. You can keep doing it if you want, but it's not going to change anything.
Right, exactly. And Wesley Austin, who is.
I love Wesley Austin. His stuff. His sarcasm just makes me smile no matter what it is that he's saying. He's so good at it.
I cut some of his sarcasm out on this, but he commented on another one that, at least on the surface, is seeing the light. Here he is.
John Kerry admits that President Trump was right about the border.
They just allowed the border to continue to be under siege. And
that's quite a word.
I think the first words, the first thing any president should say, any president or anybody in public life, is without a border protected, you don't have a nation.
You know what's bad if John Kerry saw the border problem from his Gulf Stream? And when asked about how Donald Trump has handled the border, here's what Kerry said.
Well, he was right. The problem is we all should have been right. Everybody should have been right. Doing the same thing, all moving in the same direction.
Kerry says, we all should have been right. Yeah, John, that's generally how being right works. The problem is that liberals don't like being right. It makes them feel too Republican.
Well,
if you aren't following this man, follow him. His stuff is dead on with some humor and the way he looks at the camera is like, right? You got that?
He's got a lot of personality. I got to give him that. He makes me laugh.
He's awesome.
And we've seen some favorability numbers continue to drop for the Democrats, and that does not getting better. Bill Maher was talking about the power structure.
You would think all of a sudden he's a Republican. I mean, it's like, what?
Some of the stuff. I mean, well, I think his party has left him, and we've heard that several times, and it really has. Yep. He still adheres to common sense and thinks for himself, which even though I don't agree with him on, at least I know he thought through it himself. Yeah. Anyway, here he is talking about how the power of the Democrats is actually fading away.
California is projected to lose 3 seats, New York 2, also going to lose a seat, Minnesota, Oregon, Rhode Island, Illinois, all blue states. Who's getting these? Texas, Florida, Idaho, and Utah. I mean, this looks like game over, and the reason why people are voting with their feet is taxes and regulation. People are leaving these kind of states for places where they feel the heavy breath of government on them. It's not that hard for Democrats to understand this, but they seem to be incapable of doing anything about it.
Yeah, in Georgia, not so much. We actually have lowered the state income tax percentage. I think I forgot what it was before. It was at 5%. It's down to 4%, something like that. But places like Tennessee and Texas and Florida, they don't have any state income tax. So you could save yourself 5% just off the bat by moving to one of those states, especially if you're retired.
Well, then, yeah, when in our state, I still have to pay, quote unquote, on the pensions that we get, but the 2 pensions don't amount to the deduction wipes them out, so I don't pay any taxes on that, and we don't pay any taxes at all in the state of Idaho on Social Security. So we're a half and half state. Yeah. Pensions, you got to pay on Social Security. No, you don't. So it's a lot of people moving here, and I was shocked to find out the last election was our state was 6% redder than it was in the previous election, which all these Californians moving in. California conservatism is not Idaho conservatism, but they still voted red. So, I mean, when you have as many people as we've had moved in, it wasn't 15 years ago. We only had a little over 1 million people, 1.2 million or something. We're over 2 million now. That's how many have moved in less than 10 years. Wow. It's ridiculous how much has moved in.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's that dynamic where the left has shifted so far left that it's who is kind of is left behind, the centrists or the people a little bit to the right, the Californians, they kind of look like they don't have any other choice. They have to vote Republicans. Because there's nobody left.
I can't afford to live here. Fortunately, those that couldn't and said, you know what, whatever it costs, we're out of here. And then you have left behind the ones who I can't move. I can't afford to move. I can't afford to stay. They're stuck there.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the Social Security not getting taxed in Idaho. That was part of the big, beautiful bill as far as federally, right?
Or federal, and I have been paying federal tax on my Social Security between the pension, Social Security, all that stuff. Yeah. It amounts to enough that I got to pay on it, but I get a grocery tax rebate because I still file the taxes. Don't have to, but I do, to get the rebate from the state, which almost covers what I have to pay into the feds. Okay. Well, now I'll have a bonus from the state because I'm not going to have to pay anything to the feds on my Social Security.
Expect a new mic on Richard's video feed here. I can see that.
Or no.
you need a 416. I think that would be fantastic.
My NTG 4 Plus sounds pretty good on the one. It came out quite well.
It does, and your Neumann sounds great anyway. So
I'm kind of pretty close to being mic'd out at the moment. I say that without going, I'll never buy another. Ooh, look, shiny thing.
If my mic craps out, all I got is the Audio Technica. So I just so I'm stuck with my Lewitt, and but I'm real happy with my Lewitt. So
I recommend that to all kinds of my client and friend that I do the free range preacher on prayer and do all of his intros and outros. That's what I recommended he get. And he goes, wow, I have had more comments about how good my podcast sounds now. So, and it's good for voiceover. It's just one of those things where it's got a sweet spot of not being super expensive, but works unbelievably well.
Yeah, certainly budget friendly compared to a lot of mics. Yeah, no doubt. And I just got an imaging job for a radio station in New Zealand yesterday. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I'm heard all over the world in 43 countries at least. Anyway.
Yes, well, I'm in 78. You'll catch up someday, son.
Maybe. I'm a little younger, so I mean, it has to go through the process. Anyway, there was a Turning Point Youth Conference in Tampa, Florida this past weekend. I don't know if you saw the video of the one guy from New York that went down there and tried to like bully some people, and the cop pushed him over and threw cuffs on him, and it's like
Tom Homan was having none of it.
I love it. I love it. It was great. One of my favorite our favorite CNN people, Scott Jennings, we were just talking about him earlier, gave a little bit of a speech, and I wanted to play a clip of that for you. There were so many good speeches. I mean, everybody was there. It was a whole list of high-profile people that were giving great speeches, and it was for the youth of America, and that's why the protesters all came out. So anyway, here's Scott Jennings.
But here's the best part. He's not alone. He's got a movement. It's young, it's smart, and it's hungry to win. Now, judging by the statements of some of my sparring partners lately, the left is panicked. Why? Because you aren't playing by their rules anymore. They want you to sit down and shut the F up. They want you to stay in your lane. Little did they realize that you would build your own road and go right through them. You all stand unapologetically for free speech in the places that they thought they owned. And Trump is bringing radical campuses like Harvard, Columbia, and UPenn to heel as we speak. Now, let me be blunt and give you a direct message. We cannot concede any ground, not an inch, not a campus, not a corporate hallway, not a school board, not a TV network, not a single corner of our culture will we concede. And certainly not a dictionary, which is under assault from people who think words and DNA no longer have any meaning. Trump scares these people to death because they know he's going right around them, straight to the American people.
And that's exactly what he used to do. Remember in the first administration, he used Twitter all the time, and you were able to hear directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that what he was doing.
Yeah, and then they canceled him there, and now he's back, and then he has his own thing. There's a lot of young people. I was talking to you about that a young person who wrote it. It's on my Facebook page at the moment. I posted it there that it's nice to see these young people go, this isn't right. And I think it's because our perspective is skewed. We have had nothing but prosperity and wonder. And so if things go a little south, oh my God, the world's falling apart. It's not. It's we're just spoiled. Yep. And this is coming from someone who's never had hard times yet. It may never happen. You never know. You and I have both been through things where not so good and trying to raise a family and not having anything. It's tough. You learn to just deal with stuff. So
I think that's where you learn to deal with stress for sure, because you have to push through, go to work, take care of your family like nothing's wrong because you're the responsible party.
And try to find a job to go to work.
Well, that too. But I mean, I think you learn that you got to swallow some of that stuff and just kind of like keep it penned up a little bit. I mean, everybody wants to let everything fly and complain about everything. It's like, man, sometimes
it doesn't make it better. You've just got to figure out how to. I grew up on a farm where something's not working and you don't have, and you look at it and go, well, if I do this and this and that, well, then that'll get around that. It'll take a little longer, but at least I can get it done.
Sure.
And you just have, I came from that mentality, and that's what you do is just figure it out.
Yeah.
A while back, my trash wasn't picked up. They just I kept getting text messages. Oh, it's 6 hours delayed. Oh, it'll be here the next day. Nobody ever showed. And so I gave them a nasty review online, and I got a call and let them know, you know what? I've done route work. I understand things happen. Trucks break down, stuff. Figure it out.
Right.
Do something and just get it done. They had nothing to say to me.
Yeah. No, because that kind of common sense you can't argue with.
No, and I've been there, done that. I understand. You just make it work. I've worked 80, 90 hours in a week. It's not fun, but sometimes stuff has to happen. So, anywho, we were going off. We keep veering off the trail all the time today.
You got me beat. I've only done 72, so I've never worked.
I've worked 58 hours on a hay stacker one time.
Man.
You get rummy, and then you come back up and go at it again some more.
I need to breathe a little bit. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass, one of my favorite people to make fun of because she just puts herself out there. And anyway, she makes a fool of herself again this past week because of the ICE raids. You know, remember, I don't know if you saw this. I know you saw this story where they raided a pot farm in California. And
but that's not how it started out. Oh, they invaded these migrant workers that were in a strawberry field picking strawberries.
There was no strawberries.
Okay. I don't think those are strawberries, but okay.
You don't set the strawberry on fire and put it in your mouth. It's just not the way that works. But they were underage kids working in an illegal pot farm. It's like you're supposed to look the other way.
Well, it was 3 illegals at once. 1, it was an illegal pot farm. 2, there were illegal migrants working on the pot farm. 3, there were underage children working without permits in the pot farm.
And it's pot. It's against the law federally. So, I mean,
it was just illegal, period. Yeah, these poor kids that were out in the strawberry. And then that went away very quick. It got, no, nice try, no.
Even Gavin Newsom tried to jump on that, and it didn't work. I mean, he just...
It got shut down real fast. Anyway, sorry. It was 3 illegals. It's like, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, you're out.
Did you see the video? They were throwing rocks at the trucks. It's like, it's terrible.
And somebody was shooting at him. And
I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, there was video of someone. I mean, he was doing this. So whatever he had, he was shooting it. And if they would have caught that, they would have dropped him in a heartbeat.
They didn't shoot back one way or the other. They got out of there. No. But Trace Gallagher and Katie Zachariah explains exactly what's going on with Karen Bass.
Karen Bass on paying illegal immigrants.
We also are going to have a reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that Mayor Garcetti started during COVID that will actually provide cash assistance to people. Because, you have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work, and they are in need of cash.
So if you came here illegally and then you committed another crime, just hang tight. We're going to give you a little cash to hold you over so you don't have to come out of your house.
This is looking insurrectionist. We're going to pay you to break the law. We are not only going to tell you not to follow the federal immigration law. Now we're going to pay you to stay at your home and hide from the authorities that are enforcing laws that are nationwide. If they were against these laws, they should go through the legislative process and try to pass laws that say we're against federal immigration and we want open borders. But they're not doing that. They're paying people to break the law.
Can you imagine? I mean, 20 years ago, if somebody told you that the LA mayor was going to pay you to stay home because you're here illegally.
Do you know how much the pay is?
No, I have no idea.
$200. That's it.
A week?
No, just here's your card. Just $200 is on it. That's it. That's all it's good for.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's not
And
going
it's
to go
like we're
very
giving
far.
them cards, and they're making it sound like, oh, they're taking care. It's $200.
They're going to.
They don't have money in their budget for it anyway.
No.
And it's more taxpayer fraud. And
What are they,
anyhow, do you have some more on Karen Bass? Because I got some.
I think that California is $65 billion in debt as it is. I mean, so
Yes, and they were when Gavin Newsom took them. They were $60 billion to the good.
To the good, right? Exactly.
So he's run $120 billion into the ground.
I don't have any more about Karen Bass. I do have one more story about the illegal immigration and what they're working with. What else you got on Karen Bass?
Oh, the Karen Bass, she was saying, I couldn't even get my car washed because it's decimated our economy. And somebody on Fox went, really? He said, I called 5 car washes. They said, come on down. There's no waiting. She just killed the car wash industry by herself because they were open and ready to work.
Again,
but nobody's going through.
They're so used to throwing lies out there that they don't even notice anymore.
Oh, she is a commie to the nth degree. She is absolutely horrible.
Yeah. The lefties,
get what you vote for, people.
Oh, no doubt. And LA is going to continue down that path. It's just the way it is. But the lefties keep throwing out there that these illegals are doing all the jobs that Americans won't or refuse to do.
Are illegal aliens really doing the manual labor? Manual labor? Is that what's happening?
In a way, it is manual labor. In a way, Batya Ungar Sargon with the real numbers on how all that works.
There's this narrative on the left that they're taking jobs that Americans will not do or don't want to do. And it's absolute nonsense. There's not a single industry in the United States that's done by a majority illegal migrant labor. The highest rates are about 30% in agriculture, which means 72% of people working farms are American citizens. And it is just so disgusting to say these are jobs that are beneath an American. Turns out Americans don't think that. When you have mass deportations and a closed border, employers have to pay more wages. And guess what? Americans are happy to take those jobs. And you look at the 1970s, which is when working class Americans could really afford to support a family in dignity on a single income. The share of the population that was foreign born in America was 4%. You look today and it's over 15%. And of course, if you're here and you're an illegal migrant, you have 2 options. Either you're working, which means you're driving down the wages that an American worker could have asked for if you weren't there competing with them for a job, or you're living off the social welfare state, right? There's no third option here. And both of those are utterly, utterly unacceptable. And yet the elites in both parties, as you rightly point out, Rita, have been very much enjoying this because they're the consumers of low-wage labor. So, of course, they would rather pay a nanny $40,000 a year under the table than pay an American $70,000 a year and give them benefits. And Donald Trump has simply put his foot down and said, no more. And as a result, we're seeing real wages rise for working class Americans, and the elites are going crazy because they cannot stand to be deprived of their slave labor force. That's what all of this, activism against ICE and against the deportations is about. They say they're coming for our communities, and what they mean is they're coming for our cheap workforce.
It reminds me of the whole slave movement that when they were talking about the abolitionists.
Well, and it's funny that the Democrats are saying, and now who's going to go pick all your fruit and your vegetables for $5 an hour? If that's not a racist thing to say, I don't know what is.
Absolutely.
They're flat out saying, we're bringing them in because they're dirt cheap and they're not legal. So we'll give them what we want to give them and they just have to suffer. That is such a racist thing. And that's coming from Democrats. And now who's going to pick your food? Well, most of who's on farms, like she said, is 72% of hardworking Americans. Is it a job that's hardworking and you sweat your teeth off and you're out in the freezing weather? Yes, they love doing it. I grew up doing it, and it's one of my fondest memories of being a a kid working with my grandpa.
Right.
So
you got to love that. But I mean, it's sort of like with the Dixiecrats back during the slave movement. You had all these. It was the Civil War. A lot of it kicked off because of economics, because they didn't want to hire people. They had already bought people.
That's right. I already bought and paid for them. I'm going to get my use out of it.
Right. So
really,
and most of these, and a lot of these southern plantations were owned by carpetbaggers from up north. So it wasn't. There's just so many misconceptions about the Civil War that I could go on for an hour.
Well, 10,000. What was I saying? It was 10 to 15,000 black people were slave owners, and they were in the slave trade of doing stuff, and they treated their own kind, if you will, worse than some of the plantation people.
Well, it's like the people in power today. They treat people less than if they're not as educated, or they didn't go to Harvard or whatever. They would probably talk to us like we're children, because we're obviously stupid. We're not overly. We don't have a degree from somewhere. So.
I don't have a paper that says I'm smart.
Yeah, I don't need a paper to tell me I'm stupid, because I've been told that all my life. Oh, you mean smart? I got you.
Yeah, I see. I'm carrying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Smart.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the math on that.
We need a palate cleanser.
please. Yes, we're way over, and we don't care today.
This is a Paul Harvey. We're back on our Paul Harvey kick for a little while anyway. This is about the possible origin of a fairy tale. And now,
the rest of the story. At least 1,200 years ago, in the south of China, there lived a king named Tohan. He ruled from a throne on a magnificent island. We're not certain precisely which one, or for that matter, precisely when. In fact, most of what we ought to know about this ancient ruler has been completely forgotten over the years. Nonetheless, the reign of Tohan has echoed throughout the centuries since in a marvelous and magical way, because one morning King Tohan was presented with an unusual gift. It was a small but splendidly crafted shoe. It was a solitary shoe made entirely of gold. Now, what was most remarkable about it was that despite the precious but heavy material from which the shoe was fashioned, it was as light as goose down, so light that it made no noise even when its sole met stone. Now, most monarchs would have been satisfied simply to admire such a present, but Tohan was not satisfied at all. To the contrary, he was perplexed and confounded by the golden shoe. He grew quickly obsessed with the desire to discover its origin. The gift giver was taken aback. He had merely purchased the shoe from a merchant on the dock and had asked no questions. Then the merchant must be found, Tohan insisted. And he was. And yet he could only inform the king that he'd bought the shoe on the mainland from one of the cave dwellers on the mainland. The man had told the merchant nothing of the source of the curious object. So all of the king's men put themselves to the task of finding that one cave dweller. And when they succeeded, and when they questioned him regarding the golden shoe, they were told an incredible tale. Now listen carefully. They said that only a short while before, a beautiful young woman, as beautiful as a heavenly being, was seen at a local festival. She was wearing a glorious cloak of kingfisher feathers and golden shoes. But just as everyone had begun to stare at her, she became suddenly self-conscious and frightened, and then hurried away, leaving one of her golden shoes behind, the same shoe that had come into the possession of King Tohan. Let me hesitate just for a moment with a reminder now that such an ancient story, however specifically traceable, is in the strictest historical sense unverifiable. And yet, if part of it or even none of it is true, its discovery nonetheless ends an age-old quest for the true origin of a more familiar story, told throughout the centuries in some 700 different versions. For you see, when King Tohan was told of the country festival and of the mysterious young woman who left the golden shoe behind, he searched the kingdom until he found her, clothed in rags, hidden away by a sinister stepmother and her own daughter. For the beautiful young girl, Yitzien, the beautiful young girl, having disguised herself, she claimed, in garments acquired through a wish, had attended the festival and fled, fearing recognition. But now, hers, that young girl's, was the only foot in all the land that would fit the golden slipper, and she and the king were married and lived happily ever after. Of course, you recognize the story, but you've heard it here told as it was told for the first time, or perhaps as it really happened, but you remember it by the solitary enchanting name Cinderella. And now you know the rest of the story.
So I guess
That's right.
the pumpkin that turned into a chariot or a stagecoach.
Yes.
Was,
I love the story of Rendersella, and it never would have all come about if she hadn't have slopped her dripper.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that the story he was talking about?
That is the story he's talking about. Oh my gosh, that was a hee-haw story. We need to bring
Archie
that
Campbell.
Back. Yeah, Archie Campbell. Goodness gracious, we need to bring that back. I think we had that on. We played that one time.
I think we did it one time. Yeah,
I need to play that again.
Oh, he did that so well. That was very creative.
How he did it without tripping over his tongue, I have no idea.
Anyway.
My gosh. Well, we hope you were somewhat informed and had fun like we did. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble, or wherever you find podcasts.
Or, if it's just simpler to you, just visit our good old website at stayoffmylawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
And we'll see you next week, folks.
Toodles, and thanks to everybody for listening to us. We appreciate you all. Please tell a friend. Thanks.
Well, we had fun and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.